So imagine for a second that every single student could have their own personal tutor, a tutor that's available 24/7 and knows exactly how they learn best. Well, this isn't some far-off sci-fi dream anymore. It's a revolution that's happening in our classrooms right now, and it's all being powered by AI. Today, we're going to dig in and see how this technology is really, truly starting to reshape the future of education.
This idea isn't new at all. For more than 100 years, educators have understood a simple, fundamental truth. Great teaching has to be personal. It's this powerful idea that every single student learns in their own unique way.
But here's the tough reality. In a typical college class, the quickest learner can get a handle on a topic 7 times faster than the slowest. Now, that's not just a small gap, that's a massive canyon. And it's a canyon that the traditional one-size-fits-all lecture style just can't cross.
And that's what leads us to this classic problem of the one-size-fits-none classroom. I mean, think about it. With dozens of students, all with their own learning styles and speeds, how can one teacher possibly meet every single one of their needs? It's a next to impossible task.
So, what's the perfect solution? Well, for decades, we've known it's one-on-one tutoring. The data doesn't lie. Students with personal tutors just perform way, way better than their classmates. But that has always been the gold standard, right? A luxury that's been way too expensive and out of reach for pretty much everyone. But what if that's all about to change? What if technology has finally cracked the code to make that gold standard of tutoring available to every student, whenever and wherever they need it? And this is the big promise of what's called neuroadaptive learning. Just picture an AI personal tutor that tailors lessons to you in real time, changing the content and the pace based on your specific needs. This isn't just some digital textbook, it's a dynamic learning partner that's actually evolving right along with you. And look, the best of these AI tutors are not just glorified answer machines. No, they're built on teaching methods that we know actually work. So instead of just handing you the answer, they'll use something like Socratic questioning to guide you, to nudge you, helping you think critically and figure out the solution on your own. Okay, so the theory sounds amazing, but what about the real-world impact? Let's actually look at the proof, because the data that's starting to come out is genuinely transforming institutions. Let's start over at Georgia State University. Like a lot of big public universities, they were dealing with a crisis. A lot of students were dropping out because they just couldn't navigate all the academic and financial hurdles of college. So what they did was bring in an AI platform that tracks 800 different risk factors for every single student, and it does it in real time. We're talking about everything from a small dip in grades to accidentally registering for the wrong course. If the system flags a potential problem, an advisor gets an alert right away and can step in, usually within 48 hours. And the results were, well, absolutely transformative. Graduation rates at Georgia State shot up by over 20%. And maybe even more incredible, the achievement gap that had always existed between minority and white students, it was completely wiped out. That is a huge, huge win. Okay, now let's switch gears to K through 12 schools. Here, teachers are just swamped, right? They're trying to give personal attention in classrooms with 30, sometimes even more students. It's this constant juggling act between helping the kids who are falling behind and challenging the ones who are ready to race ahead. This is where AI tools like Khanmigo from Khan Academy are coming in. For students, it's like having a personal tutor. But for teachers, it's like having a super-powered assistant. Early programs are showing it saves teachers between 5 and 10 hours every week on things like lesson planning and grading. That's time they get back to do what they do best, actually teach. Here's another massive challenge, especially in subjects like math, getting students past just memorizing formulas. The real goal isn't just to get the right answer, it's to deeply understand the why behind it all. So, an independent study by the Rand Corporation looked at this AI platform called Mathia. Now, Mathia does something really smart. It coaches students on their problem-solving process, not just their final answer. And the result? The students using Mathia saw learning gains that were nearly double that of students in regular classrooms. Nearly double. Okay, so the potential here is obviously enormous. But, and this is a big but, this is not some simple plug-and-play fix. As we start weaving this powerful tech into our schools, we have to grapple with the really serious human and ethical questions that come right along with it. One of the biggest concerns is what's called the black box problem. With some of these complex AIs, you can see the data you put in, and you can see the answer that pops out, but how the AI actually got from A to B, well, it's a complete mystery.
And for this to really work in education, we're going to need transparency.
Another big risk we have to manage is something called purpose creep. This is what happens when data that's collected for one good reason, say to help a student learn better, gets reused for a totally different, maybe not so good reason later on without anyone knowing. We have to set some really clear boundaries on how this data gets used.
So these are the massive conversations we need to be having right now. We're talking about student data privacy, of course. We have to make sure the algorithms aren't biased and just repeating societal inequalities. And then there's the huge challenge of making sure every single student has fair and equal access to these amazing new tools. And all of this leads us to what should be the ultimate goal. The very best approaches use AI to augment a teacher's skills, not to replace them. Let the AI handle the massive data analysis and the routine stuff, which frees up the human teachers to focus on what they do best, inspiration, mentorship, and building real connections with their students.
So where is all this headed? What does it all build towards? Well, it seems it's not just about having a new gadget in the classroom. It's about a totally new kind of partnership in how we learn.
A lot of experts see AI's role in education growing in stages. It starts off as just a simple tool, then it becomes more of an assistant. But the real vision for the future is for AI to become a true collaborator, and maybe eventually even a personal coach that partners with us through our entire lives as we learn. And that really brings us back to the single most important takeaway from all these success stories. The goal here is augmentation, not replacement. The AI tools that are making the biggest difference are the ones that empower teachers, the ones that give them superpowers, and let them focus on the deeply human work of inspiring students. So this leaves us with a really fundamental question to think about. As we move from just using AI as a tool to actually partnering with it as a collaborator, how is that going to change the very definition of what it means to learn in the world of tomorrow?